Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the treasure map versus Kizaru to super evolve Sanji and Frankie, the teams that I'll be using to take down the New World treasure map for the upcoming 11th anniversary. So in about 24 hours and a bit time from me recording this video, we will have the treasure map in game. So today we're going to be going through each in particular mini boss fight and the final boss fight with a full boost team. But if you guys don't have the full boost, don't stress. I did put out a no new batch video already. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys. Make sure to hit the bell notification, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that good stuff over here and that video to keep up to date with the content. Because if you don't understand what the fuck's going on, don't stress. I'll put out playthrough videos and you don't want to miss out on any of the OPTC content. So make sure to head over to Pikqchu, Pirate King's Adventures. You can get your hands on the Sanji and the Frankie character. They will be super evolved in this particular quest. You pick up the skulls through the milestone rewards, and make sure you keep 2 copies because you always want to have one unevolved and one evolved for future point boosting shenanigans in the future. Something to note about the treasure map too is there is a very good particular reward at the top 20% being a super tandem boost guaranteed tablet, which means you can use this on any of your characters, any of the new shiny 11th anniversary characters that have the super tandem boost effect, and you get a guaranteed level. This is essentially the same as a dupe in that particular character. It's a very rare item, so I would highly recommend, if you spend a lot of time and income in this game, to make sure that you fall in the top 20%. Very important that you do that. So with that said, let's take a look at the teams. So the name of the game here is Speed. We want to tear through the mini-boss fights as quickly as possible. I always find that is the best way to play treasure map, to get the highest ranks, to get the most nav levels, and to have the most fun when playing this particular game mode. Using characters that can wave clear turn 1 and turn 2, characters that can give you orbs from the start of the quest, which allows you to reduce the amount of specials you need on the earlier stages, and just makes the grind a lot more bearable. But you can make replacements to these particular teams. Maybe you guys have some other point boosters you want to bring along, some other options to help you clear the quest, but it'll obviously take you a little bit longer with each individual run. But hey, don't let me stop you from doing that. I'm just sort of talking about the way that I like to play, because I do find it just a lot more beneficial doing it that way. A lot more beneficial is a bad way to say that, but I find it a lot more beneficial. I just did it again. You guys know what I'm saying. So the recommended character for Fuji is Sanji and Frankie. Everyone gets the good stuff. Something about the 11th anniversary is they have given every single character 5 turns of versatility, super swap, and special charge at the start of the quest. If you combine that with the 11th anniversary ship that is still boosted, you get 10 turns of cooldown. Sockets give you 2, and then your interrupts on turn 1 and turn 3 give you another 2, giving you a passive 14 turns of cooldown for every single character, which works exceptionally well. So just be mindful of that. It is going to help you out a massive deal when you guys are doing your team building. On battle 3, Fuji's weak to fighter characters. He binds your top row, gives full immunity and normal attacks only. So the idea here is just to remove the bind on the top row. That's realistically all you need to do. There are a lot of really good captains that can bypass bind. The Yamatos, for example, the Yamato character, the Super Sugo. You have 10th anniversary Shanks works well. Or you could just bring a sub that just removes bind. As you guys can see here, I have Treasure Map Blackbeard on my team. He can remove bind, but the idea of my particular build is I'm just going to use the Toki ability on turn 2 to use them on my 2 Saturn captains. That's going to allow me to bypass the bind and give me a 3.5 times attack and orb boost on the final stage. With the double special activation of Vista, you can wave clear turn 1 and wave clear turn 2. And then that Frankie rare recruit down the bottom there, he makes 1 orbs on your captains for the first on turn 1, so that way I'm carrying 1 orbs into the final fight for the 2 characters that need it. It's going to work out exceptionally well, should do a lot of damage. Later down the line, I'll probably still need to use the Blackbeard special for some chain locking or some chain boundary shenanigans. We could probably slap on a support for some color affinity later down the line as well. But for now, this is what we're working with, and it should work fairly nicely. Just be mindful too that my Toki is Limit Break expanded, puts her down to 12 turns of cooldown. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you get the 10 turns from the ship and the passive, 2 turns from sockets, and then 2 turns from interrupts, so you're getting 14 turns. Just make sure that she's on 14 turns or less, otherwise you might need to slap on something like the Roger support to give her 1 turn at the start of the quest, or maybe even Mr. 3, not Mr. 3, the Nami, what's her name, Nami, Robin, and Boa unit, that'll definitely work too. On to the next fight, we are going up against Green Bull. Bluegrass is the recommended character, everyone gets the good stuff, and he's weak to driven characters. He gives you block orbs on the left, super bomb on the right, normal attacks only, and 6 turns of defense up. To bypass the defense up, we are using the cheeky little Mihawk support that goes on Shirahoshi here. Shirahoshi gives you a full body rainbow orbs at the start of the quest, so that way you don't have to worry about the super bomb or the block orbs on the final stage. We are using the cheeky strats of Sengoku to apply a 4 times attack and orb boost to our Kizaru captain. Remember, so you have 1 of every type on the crew, then you are going to get a 4 times attack and orb boost. We're using the swap and special of Luchikaku down the bottom there to bypass turn 1 and turn 2, and then we just needed any strength character at all, and the one that we chose was Buggy. I just threw Buggy on this team because why the fuck not? You can literally use any other strength character at your disposal. But look, Buggy's just a 1.25 booster, so I thought that he fit the bill nicely. Later down the line, when we're going to need a little bit more damage, besides the 4 times orbs and the 4 times attack, we can basically just bink the Kizaru special. We could throw on a support to get some color affinity, but the Kizaru special is probably the one that we're going to do first. That way we get ourselves a chain boundary as well as a territory, which should be plenty of damage to clear stages moving forward. Like, I can't imagine it being too challenging with those 2 specials. Moving on to the Garp mini boss fight now. Garp is the recommended character against Garp are York and Dole. On battle 1, everyone gets the good stuff. Garp's weak to cerebral characters. He gives you 1 turn of nullified potential abilities, 3 turns of paralysis, 2 turns of hunger, normal attacks only, and a 1 turn hit barrier. The problem with this fight is that if you have a character that removes hunger as their potential ability, they're not actually going to do it for that 1 turn. So you realistically need to bring recovery orbs to bypass this. And that's why they want you to use York, because she gives you 2 turns, 2 recovery orbs on your bottom row. So the team that we're using looks a little bit like this. The idea here is that we're utilizing Bonnie to give us a full bottle recovery orbs at the start of the quest. There is no orb shenanigans on the final stage, so very similar to characters that give you rainbow and wano orbs at the start of the fight. You can use characters that give you recovery orbs to bypass the hunger. Characters like Bonnie, there's some other characters like some rare recruit Nami that does it. That's the best one I can think of off the top of my head, but I know there's plenty of other characters that allow you to start with a full bottle recovery orbs at the start of the fight. As for the wave clearer, we have Zoro. Final stage, we have Robin and Koala. Robin and Koala, you can use their super swap to get a color affinity boost, and then their special removes the barrier and gives you a orb buff for 3 turns. The problem with their super switch though is you are going to lose 3 recovery orbs, but at the same time it doesn't really matter that much because you still have 3 recovery orbs for your characters anyway. So with that, you have color affinity, you have an orb buff, and then with Crocodile you have an attack boost and a chain boundary. We're not going to need Crocodile special all yet, but he also removes paralysis too, so if you don't have the bottom support, don't stress. I've just slapped York on here because, like, why not? And yeah, it'd be pretty much covered for everything here. Later down the line, we can add on maybe some chain boosting stuff. You could probably slap on like the Doflamingo support for a little bit of a chain boost. So you got a little bit of room to grow there. Hell, you technically don't even need Bonnie later down the line. You could just replace Bonnie with anyone because you do technically have York on this particular team as well. If you have Dole, you could probably use Dole over Robin and Koala as well. But again, like, now we're just making the team slower, and I'm just really not about that. Moving on to the Akainu fight. Akainu, the recommended characters is Zoro and Mihawk. If you have these 2 characters, just slap them on a team and you're basically done. Like, that's all you need to do. It's the easiest 4th mini boss I've ever seen in my entire life. Usually this one is stereotypically harder than the rest. But now it just seems like the easiest because they just give you the pieces of the puzzle. Everyone gets the good stuff. He's weak to slashes. Special bind on your top row only. Crewmates get 2 turns of special reverse. All orbs are a 70% reduction of damage. So strength, dex, quick sight, int, wano, recovery, and tandem orbs all lose their potency. So you get 70% less damage. But you can still bring rainbow orbs. So damage reduction at 60%. Normal attacks only, and then there's defense down immunity. So ideally, if you just run double Zoro here, with like any character that can activate his super type, you can basically just use the friend Captain Zoro's super type special to clear turn 1 and turn 2. But for me, I always like using this Tashigi combination that I figured out when Tashigi came out. Basically, you just run Tashigi as captain, and then you use the Zoro special on turn 1, and it auto procs Tashigi on turn 2 and turn 3. This is like really fast. Like, it's a really, really fast tactic. Plus, you don't really have to do anything. You can just sort of tap the screen. All of a sudden, you're on the final stage with a 3-turn orb boost, which is just really, really strong. But she also increases, by the way. She removes special bind too, so she removes the special bind on the captains. So you still technically have the Tashigi specials if you really want to use them. As for the other character we're going to be using on the final stage later down the line when we need a little bit more damage, we're going to be using Nami. Nami has the special rollback where for 2 turns, so it puts her into her stage 1 special, which is arguably better than her stage 2, because you get the increased damage taken effect. So that's always really, really nice. I believe you can use her EX as well. Or maybe not, because we don't. Actually, I think we can because we have Zoro. So if you just have Zoro on the team, you just get the EX apparently. So I think you can just use the EX, which gives her 2 turns of cooldown. So you can technically get her stage 1 and then, I don't know, figure out a way to get her stage 2. You can probably just bring Kizaru on this team as well if you want to like fiddle some shit. But if you really want to, like I said, you could easily just do this. And then you can use the Zoro, the Mihawk special to remove the attack down with a certain orb. Bring something like Hiyori on the team, and that way you don't have to worry about Shihoshi. But as I mentioned, rainbow orbs are actually negated from that attack down. So you can just bring Rainbow Orbs and just make the whole thing super, super fast. The idea of this team is that I'm just going to use Zoro on turn 1 and just tap, and then all of a sudden I'll be in the final stage with a full board of Rainbow Orbs and an Orb Boost, and we're just going to, like, keep doing that until it becomes not enough damage. Once it's not enough damage, we could probably look at just using the Nami special, and then when that becomes not enough damage, we'll slap on something like the Roger Odin support, we can slap on a Color Affinity support, and then we can just sort of just keep building onto this team when we need more damage. For now, I'm not going to, because this is just going to work for, like, I can see this working for like the first 50 naps. Like, it's just the amount of damage output that you will have just with the Nami and the Tashigi special, it's going to be enough to clear most of these stages. Moving on to the final boss fight, basically all we've done now is just take all the recommended characters, throw them on a team, and call it a day. Against, who are we fighting? Kizaru, Rox, Kaido, and Bonnie are the recommended characters. Everyone gets the good stuff. On Battle 2, if you use a Rox Pirate special, you remove the attack down up above the 3.5 times chain, and you just have to get above the 2.5. You need to remove damage nullification, so obviously they do that. They give you a full board of Tandem and Semler slots, so you bypass the attack down with certain orbs. And then to get around the threshold, you use the Bonnie special. She gives you 3 turns of chain buff too. It all works out pretty hunky-dory there. On the final stage, Kizaru's weak to strikers. You get a 90% attack down. You get this Hunger, Stun, the enemy applies a territory, 6 cents of damage reduction, full immunity, and normal attacks only. If you remove the damage reduction, just a whole bunch of nasty stuff happens. So basically, you just need to put Kaido in the middle row. You can use the Kaido special, and then you'll remove the stun, because he cuts your HP by 85%. This will also trigger the HP guard, and the damage reduction that the Captain Rox Pirates can do. You can use the other Rox Pirates for an orb buff. Stassi I threw on here because you're 1.6 times booster, and then you also have the Roger Radley Gabon on here as a 2 times booster too. So, like, the team should just go absolutely ballistic. I can't really see it being too much of a problem, and should do dividends for a very, very long time. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any additions for the team to make it a little bit stronger. Moving on to the final, well, Intrusion fight now. Saturn, Stassi, and Roger Radley Gabon are the boosted characters. Everyone gets the good stuff, and as long as you bring Roger Radley Gabon, you're pretty much covered. 6 turns of paralysis, poison, bleed, normal attacks only, full immunity, and thresholds. If you remove the threshold, a whole bunch of nasty stuff happens, but remember, with Roger Radley Gabon, they set the threshold to 0, so you don't have to worry about that at all. On to the final stage, Sanji and Frankie are weak to strikers. Their crewmates get special blind, 5 turns of chain growth rate at 0.1. 5 turns of an attack down if you blow a 3.5 times chain. Normal attacks only, full immunity, and damage reduction for 10 turns. And you also get a full board of poison slots. Forgot to mention that. So on turn 2, you can use the Stassi special to remove the bleed and the paralysis. She's basically just replaceable with any other paralysis removal. If you guys don't have her, like, don't stress. Just run a paralysis remover and you're pretty much good to go. Is that a 1.4? Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you just run a paralysis remover and you're pretty much good to go. You're not removing the poison, because, like, when you move to the final stage, you get the poison sockets, and then you use the Saturn special. He removes all of that. That works pretty nicely. Roger Radley Gabon give you a territory. They're your captain, so they give you the 2.5 times chain boundary. Rox Pirates give you an orb buff, which is really, really nice. And then you can probably run double Rox Pirates here, actually. I don't really see a world where you need 2 Roger Radley Gabons. You just need to use Roger Radley Gabon on the final stage, and then you just need 1 captain to bypass the threshold stuff. And then if you run a Rox Pirates, you just set the damage reduction to 0 as well. So therefore, you don't really need Saturn, and you could just use like another poison remover if you guys are missing something like Saturn. So should work out pretty hunky-dory. Just like this is what I'm going to rock early, and then I'll probably pivot to double Rox Pirates, just so you get the orb boost to set target. But look, that all just depends on what damage numbers you need and how that looks later. But that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do that good stuff. Make sure to hit the bell notification. Like I said, we will be doing playthroughs for this sort of stuff, and head down to the description if you guys need a little bit more help with some no new batch teams there. But most importantly, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!